who is one of our illustrious grad assistants, which many of you are familiar with. Jim is President and Chief Executive Officer of the Memphis in May International Festival. He comes and joins us, visits with us every semester. Everybody likes what he has to say.
You still haven't paid me, though.
You didn't get the last semester's
No,
check
I
yet?
didn't get that.
Darren, I put in 2 requests for that.
Okay.
Anyway, Jim, Jack, please take it away.
All right. Good afternoon. I'm going to go real fast so you guys can make that 5:30 Peabody thing, because you don't want to miss that. It's a great place to work. I know the guy who runs the joint. I'm going to give you a presentation that is everybody familiar with Memphis in May International Festival? Scott? How many of you have attended one of our events? All right, come on, hands high. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only 8? What about the other 5? You've never gone? I'm going to give you a little rundown, give you some background for those that haven't attended, don't know anything about it, about the festival, and how we utilize the Memphis in May International Festival to kind of position the city of Memphis. Jack, I may have to have you do this.
Oh.
Oh, I got to point it there.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so directionally down. City of Memphis. This is a presentation I gave in Denmark and in South Korea. Just to give you an idea about how festivals are, why they're important to communities and how they help kind of define the culture. Memphis is the 24th largest city in the U.S. by population and 42nd largest metropolitan population area, with approximately 1.3 million people. We're known by virtue of FedEx as America's distribution center, and also because of our location on the Mississippi River and because of the rail yards that we have here and the highways. We're also headquarters to FedEx, their global headquarters here, which I'm sure most of you know, Fortune 500 international paper. We're also the hardwood trading capital of the world. Oops, wrong way. Jack, I may have to.
Down one, I think.
Okay.
There we go.
I may need more assistance, I think.
So
What makes the city of Memphis unique? There are 4,621 cities in the world with populations over 100,000. So all cities are competing with other cities for people to move there and add to the tax base. So all cities are looking for elements to differentiate themselves from their neighbors. Same thing with tourists. Tourism, I'm sure Professor Rohn has taught you, is a very, very popular economic driver for cities. It's very, very important to the economy. What drives a tourist? Tourists want to experience something unique and different from their everyday life, and I'm sure when you guys travel different places, you want to do something, you want to eat at a different place, see different things you normally see. So the unique attributes of a city are what shapes and helps define the local culture. Unique culture here in Memphis, we've got that. Austin's known, they like to be known for being weird. New York's the Big Apple, love New York. Portland's another city kind of copying the Austin moniker, keeping it weird. Memphis, what are we known for? Music. Birthplace of rock and roll. It all started contemporary music started here. Graceland, you've got Elvis Presley's home, Sun Studios, where Johnny Cash and Carl Perkins and Roy Orbison and Jerry Lee recorded. So music's very, very important to the fabric of our community. We're also the home of blues. Blues came out of Memphis. I'm sure you guys have all visited Beale Street, the birthplace of the blues. We've had a long list of very illustrious blues artists that came out of this area. Sadly, a lot of them have passed on. B.B. King, Bobby Blue Bland, Furry Lewis, Memphis Slim, Albert King, Little Milton. That's another important aspect of our musical heritage. Soul music. How many of you guys have been to Stax Museum of American Soul? Only 4. The rest of you need to go. It's a great museum, helps define, tell you about our city's history, and probably, how many of you have been to Graceland? Only 4. Well, you're going to have to do the class. All right, we got 6. You have to do a class trip. We did that with our staff. We took them on a tour of Graceland, Stax, because I also had some of our staff that didn't know that. There's people that travel across the country to visit Memphis, to visit Stax, to visit Beale Street, to visit Graceland. So take advantage of that. But Stax is a very illustrious recording capital that sadly went out of business in the early 70s of soul music. The likes of Isaac Hayes, Al Green, Sam and Dave, Booker T and the MGs, the Bar-Kays, and on and on. Another very important part of our culture. The other thing that sets us out is Memphis is known as a barbecue capital of the world, pork barbecue. You go to Texas, they barbecue beef. There's other areas of the country that are also known for barbecue, but Memphis is really recognized as kind of the world epicenter along with Chicago and Kansas City. There's over 200 barbecue restaurants specializing in pork barbecue in our city. It's a culinary staple for us. It shouldn't be, but sadly it's a part of everyday life for a lot of people. But it's also an activity that is celebrated in the summer times with backyard barbecues, and of course during our World Championship BBQ Contest. I'm going to give you a little background on Memphis in May. We started in 1977. There was a group of young civic volunteers that wanted to do something downtown. The population of the city had kind of shifted into the suburbs, and downtown was in a state of decline. So they got together, they got a little money that was left over from the bicentennial celebration in 1976 that the Chamber had. And they said, we're going to do a festival in May because the weather's so beautiful here during May, and we're going to bring people back downtown to our waterfront. The idea behind the festival when it first got started was to expand the global awareness of the city of Memphis. They decided to give it an international spin. They wanted to attract foreign dignitaries to our community and international visitors so that they could showcase all the wonderful attributes of Memphis. They thought it also would be beneficial if we did an honored country salute each year, that it would help expand the knowledge base of local citizens. We didn't have the internet back in 1977, so if you didn't go to the library, if you didn't travel, most people's worldview was shaped by nightly news or what they knew locally. And then we also thought it would be a great opportunity to showcase the cultural attributes of Memphis to international guests and visitors and other people that would come on a regional, national basis to visit Memphis for the celebration. So the unity of citizens in a celebration of local culture is what instills a lot of civic pride. There's a lot of civic pride if you think of what's big about Memphis right now. There's a lot of pride in the Tigers, there's a lot of pride in the Memphis Grizzlies, to a lesser extent the Memphis Redbirds. The celebration of Memphis in May every year is a source of pride. People will invite friends and out-of-town guests, hey, come on in. They're either to visit the music festival or the World Championship BBQ Contest. And if, for those of you that haven't been, when the weather's nice, and it typically is during May, provided it's not raining, being down at Tomley Park is a great vista overlooking the Mississippi River. So that was kind of the genesis of Memphis in May. The first festival was held in 1977. It operated on it saluted actually Japan. The dates are wrong on that. It's got 76. Huh. Let me change that. 77 was the first festival that was held. We saluted Japan. They were celebrated because they were doing a lot of investments in the U.S. at that time. The festival operated on an annual budget of $50,000. The big event that year was the Sunset Symphony, which was the first time the Memphis Symphony played outdoors on the banks of the Mississippi River. Then in 1978, on the second salute, the budget more than doubled to $120,000. We celebrated our neighbors to the north, Canada. We added the World Championship BBQ Cooking Contest. I think it was called the International BBQ Cooking Contest. And a blues music concert that was held on Beale Street. We have celebrated, since our beginning 42 years ago, this is the 42nd annual festival, a total of 37 different foreign countries. This year we're saluting the Czech Republic. We're currently now operating with a budget in excess of $9 million. We have a total of 14 full-time staff members, and we're supported by almost 1,000 community volunteers, which if you guys have a hospitality, we have a hospitality committee if you want to volunteer. It's a lot of fun, it's a lot of work, so you can be actively involved in the festival. We attract over 200,000 ticketed attendees primarily to our major events in Tomley Park, the Beale Street Music Festival and World Championship BBQ Cooking Contest, and then the 901 Festival, which is held Memorial Day weekend. Less than half the attendees are from the immediate area. In fact, over 60% are coming from beyond a 50-mile radius. So we attract a lot of tourists to our city. Thus far, for our Beale Street Music Festival, which we announced the lineup earlier this week, we have sold tickets in over 40 states and 9 foreign countries. We'll probably have 15 to 20 foreign visitors from representing different countries by the time the event takes place. Primary programs, the Beale Street Music Festival. Some of you have attended that. The rest of you need to get your tickets. It's an outdoor, primarily rock and blues themed, although we've expanded the musical genres. We've got a lot of hip hop this year. We've got some EDM acts. So it's quite a diverse lineup. It's known for having a diverse lineup. Our World Championship BBQ Contest, we expanded it to 4 days last year. It's held the middle of the month. We have about 230 to 250 teams competing for close to $120,000 in cash prizes and the bragging rights to be crowned the world champion of barbecue, which will end up with them being on national TV, the Today Show or CNN, so on and so forth. And then we round out the month at the Memorial Day weekend with the Great American River Run. Do we have any runners in the room here? Any 5K or half marathon? Okay. I think Jack gave you some info. Did you give him info on the? Yeah.
I did, yeah.
You got a card on that. It's a great run along the riverfront. We have probably the best after party of any road race that you've run before. And then we close out with the 901 Fest, which is very Memphis-centric, where we feature performance groups, musical artists, artisans, and activities that are indigenous here to the city of Memphis. Now, our international salute spans the entire month. We have a very comprehensive education program. We produce a curriculum guide each year. We book performers into area schools. We also offer a free program at the Orpheum Theater for primary school from K to 12th grade. We also do exhibits at museums and public display spaces, program lectures, film, photography, all types of performing arts during the month. All told, there'll be about 20 to 30 different programs paying tribute to the honored country, the Czech Republic. So if you want to learn about that, there's ample opportunities all month long about that. And I'd encourage you to check them out and get additional information on the various programs on our website. Now, the month kicks off with the Beale Street Music Festival. It's held again at Tomley Park. It's a 25-acre riverfront park overlooking the Mississippi River. How many of you have been to Tomley Park? Okay, so a lot of people have visited that. It's 5 days. We have 3 large stages, a very large blues tent, and then a small blues shack where we program artists that you would see, down in the Mississippi Delta, playing on a porch, playing traditional blues. We attract about 25 to 30,000 people per day. The event's held rain or shine. You've got, I think Jack handed you out a copy of a little promo flyer of the musical lineup for this year, which we just announced. Actually, it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday morning. We had 88,000 people attend that last year from 50 states and 14 foreign countries. This year we've got Jack White headlining, Erykah Badu, Post Malone, Alanis Morissette, Juicy J. All told, there'll be about 66, 67 artists performing. Memphis culture is reinforced with a dedicated blues tent. This is where the birthplace of blues and a blues shack. Almost 20% of the artists that will be featured on the festival over the weekend are either Memphis or Memphis heritage artists. So we kind of interweave our musical culture history into the overall lineup with the national acts. We also produced a commemorative poster, which we unveiled yesterday by acclaimed local folk artist George Hunt. And then the food and concessions, we try to reinforce our local culinary skills. The Blue Shack, there's a picture I talked about. We haven't done it in recent years. We may bring it back this year, the Memphis Music Walk, which tells history about all the great Memphis artists, many of whom have performed at the festival. Jerry Lee, who's played for us, I think, 10 or 11 times, is not there this year, but we hope to get him back. I think that's a copy of last year's poster that George Hunt did, and there's Wolfman Belfour, who recently passed away, was one of our well-known blues tent performers. The next big event that kind of really helps define the local culture or promotes that is the World Championship BBQ Cooking Contest. Certified by the Guinness Book of World Record as the largest pork barbecue cooking contest on the planet. Last year we had 236 competition teams compete for $117,000 in cash and prizes. Although the real thing's getting that World Championship trophy in the national media. A lot of the teams will introduce or put out commercial barbecue sauce or spices. Many of them have started restaurants as a result. Melissa Cookson, who's down, I think, in South Haven, one of our past world champions, got a very successful restaurant operation. She cooks every year. Teams participate in one of three divisions, either rib, shoulder, or whole hog. We also do ancillary contests for chicken, exotic, anything but, seafood, sauces, best booth, etc. There's 4 constituencies to our World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest, or people that support it. They're a competitive team, again, approximately 250. On average, they'll have 20 members. Some of the teams that like to really get festive and party along with cooking barbecue may have as many as 30 or 40 team members. Some of the more serious ones will maybe keep it small to 6 or 8. We use nearly over 350 judges, not quite 400, for the various categories. All judges have to go through a half-day long training program and pass a test in order to judge. It's very, very detailed, and since there's a lot at stake with the cash money and the notoriety, it's a very complex judge contest. We redid the computer judging system last year. It was about $25,000. Took about 9 months to get it done. And the winners are normally determined within 1,000ths of a percentage point. It's that close. Teams have invited guests, so we have typically about 50 or 60,000 attendees at the contest, aside from the competitive teams and the judges. And then public spectators, who will come in. A lot of the team's guests are, they'll buy tickets and do parties down there on Wednesday or Thursday night, Friday night, until it gets late, because that's when they get serious for the judging on Saturday. Last year we had 67,000 attended. They came from 23 states and 6 foreign countries. Best booth contest. This is something for those of you who've been down to the contest. We encourage the teams to decorate their booth, paying tribute to the honored country. It adds a lot of pageantry to the event. Teams are competing for, who has the best decorated space or who does the best version of the honored country. We also have a contest that's kind of funny. I don't know where it originated, called Miss Piggy Idol. Teams compete in a song and dance competition in costume while paying tribute to barbecue, the honored country, or Memphis. So you have middle-aged men dressed in drag with pig outfits on, singing songs and dancing. If you haven't seen it, it's worth a trip down to check it out. It's quite unique. We do different events for patrons who aren't on teams that just want to come to the event, because it really is quite the spectacle. We do a cooker caravan where you can go and see how the teams, what all is involved in competing and the prep of the meat and so on and so forth. We have Kingsford Tour of Champions. If you haven't been officially trained to judge, you can sign up for that at a modest fee and go sample some of the teams and do kind of a modified, simple judging. And learn if it's something that you really want to get in on, go to the class, which we do each year in November. Competition is very, very intense for the contest. Again, fame, notoriety, and prize money, national TV. A lot of the teams have cookbooks, spices, or rubs. Judging, again, you have to go through the half-day long training program. Each entry is judged, each team is judged by 7 different judges. And it's very, very close. The Great American River Run. This is back for the 3rd time this year. We introduced this in 2016. It's a 5K and a half marathon designed to showcase the Mississippi River. We take it for granted because it's here, but Memphis is situated at one of the widest points of the Mississippi River. And I know a lot of out-of-town guests that I have are visiting dignitaries. That's something they really want to see because it's the largest river in North America. This event runs a route along the waterfront, very competitive. Last year we had, I think it was close to 2,000 people participate in it. And then we wrap up the month with the 901 Fest. It features everything Memphis, food, merchandise, performances by various arts groups, local artists, and then a fireworks finale. Media attention. Memphis gets a lot of media attention during the Memphis In May International Festival. We were treated recently by National Geographic Traveler, selected Memphis as one of their 20 must-see places in the world, and they indicated the time to visit was during May. Travel and Leisure named our Beale Street Music Festival a music festival worth traveling for. Fuse TV has listed the Beale Street Music Festival as one of 26 must-see festivals. There are festivals you need to attend for 5 years in a row. And then last year we were named by Festival 300, a ranking as one of the top, Beale Street was one of the top festivals or events in the world. So all these things help contribute to the brand and narrative of Memphis. The uniqueness of our events and the fact that we're different is what attracts the national and international media attention. There's some more rankings that we have from the various, USA Today ranked our barbecue contest one, I think was #1. Forbes magazine had a nice feature on us here recently. Tourist development. Our events serve as kind of a catalyst. Memphis is known for its music. Memphis In May is not responsible for that. Memphis is known for its barbecue. We don't operate a restaurant, but we had the biggest barbecue event and the biggest music event in the city. So what happens, people that are aware of the city's heritage thought, hey, I've always wanted to visit there. Go to the Peabody Hotel and see the ducks, which is another unique attribute for our city. Will come during the festival time frame because they can visit the various attractions and also take part in a major public event. Hotel occupancy during the month of May is the highest of the year. The occupancy rates during the weekends of our major events are the highest in the highest month of the year. So they experience both a lift in occupancy as well as room night rate. So it has a major economic impact on the city. Museum admissions go up, restaurant bills go up, taxi cab business, Uber, public transport, retailers all get an economic lift as a result of the increased visitors that come to our city. So in addition to entertaining and enriching the lives of local citizens and tourists, our events also significantly contribute to the economic well-being of the city. We did a study that we released last fall, and the festival has an economic impact of over $111 million. Direct spending by non-resident visitors was $51.6 million, and the festival supports the equivalent of 1,079 full-time employees as a result of the festival activities, which again, in 1977, was funded with $50,000. So, that's it on Memphis In May. In 2018, we're going to salute the Czech Republic. There's really something for everyone with the festival, whether your interest is music, barbecue food, running, international culture, or local artists or artisans at the 901 Fest. So that's Memphis In May in a nutshell. Now Jack passed out to you some material. You got a copy of the initial flyer for the Beale Street Music Festival, which we announced yesterday morning. You also have a flyer on the Great American River Run. And I think you've got a flyer for, was that One Night Product?
That, yes.
Which is our cultural show, which if you're interested in international culture, I encourage you to attend. It's at the Orpheum Theater. It's a pretty modest ticket price. It's $15. We've got a very highly regarded performance group, the Epoch Quartet, performing. During the intermission, we have one of the most acclaimed chefs from Prague coming in. They'll do like a past appetizer. And I believe there's another artist that's performing early in the day. So it's a really comprehensive show. And any night at the Orpheum is usually pretty nice. So if you want to looking to do something different, that'd be a great event to do. So I'm open to questions, comments. Young Jack will assist me here.
I have a question about the music festival.
Sure.
With all the shootings going on lately, like, what about security this year? Are y'all stepping it up or anything?
We've got a very, very highly developed security plan. We don't publish it, but it's about 45 pages long. We developed it after 9/11. We also employ a safety and security consultant. In fact, he was just hired by the city of Memphis to put together a security plan for the Beale Street Historic District. It was in the paper a couple weeks ago. He runs overall security for Olympics and World Cup games, from Australia. We went through a year and a half ago and did a very comprehensive risk mitigation plan. That's about 70 or 80 pages long. So you won't see it in the news and you won't see it publicly, but there's a lot of contingency planning in place. In addition to that, we meet with and utilize the City of Memphis Police Department, Shelby County Sheriff Department. We have private security contractor we use. We also involve Homeland Security, the FBI. We start the planning a long way in advance, and now we're getting down, since we're inside 90 days, we have the first major collective meeting, but there's a lot of security protocols that we don't talk publicly to make sure it's safe. Yes?
How do you guys track international visitors, local and out-of-state visitors?
We don't track their spending. We have information that we capture based on our ticket sales. All of our tickets done online through Ticketfly. So we have the data and information on them from that. Yes?
What's the process for the music festival when it comes to like contacting artists and stuff?
In terms of?
Like, do you have like one person who contacts the artist to see if they want to come and be a part of the music festival and perform? Or
Well, we have a booking agency out of Birmingham, Alabama, that we utilize for our Beale Street Music Festival. They book the national talent, the local Memphis talent's booked out of our office, and the blues tent and blues artists are booked out of our office. And it's a process. There's tons of talent booking agencies, but as far as the major national artists, there's only about a dozen booking agencies that represent all these artists. They contact us. Our representatives also contacts them direct. It's a back and forth
so
process.
So is it kind of like they contact you first and then you contact back, or?
Both. It's both. Sometimes if they've got something, we have artists, a good example, Franz Ferdinand. They wanted to play our festival. They knew they had, I think, a new record. I don't know if it's come out yet. I think it just came out. They really wanted to play our festival. I think they got an offer to play a festival in Atlanta. So Marty Diamond's their agent in New York. He actually called me. Our booking agent in Birmingham had been talking to him, but he wasn't making much progress with her. So he called me, and I said, sure, and I talked to her, and we ended up putting an offer in. So it's a back and forth. Some of them we chase down. Some of them they'll call us.
That's cool. That's awesome.
How many of you have been to the Beale Street Music Festival? 1, 2, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, so 7. How many of you are planning to go to the Beale Street Music Festival this year? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Why aren't the rest of you going?
I'll be in California.
Well, can't you move the trip?
I'll be the honor in a wedding.
Well,
so
you
no.
didn't tell your friend that was not very thoughtful of her planning it.
I know.
How many of you, what do you guys think of the lineup? I'm curious.
I want to go Sunday.
Who do you want to see?
See Post Malone and Young Golf.
Okay.
All 3 days.
All 3
I'm going
days?
3 days.
Every year, all 3 days.
Okay. Have they bought their tickets yet?
I'll probably
Okay.
buy closer to the day.
Wait till the price goes up more?
When does the 3-day online pass start, Jim?
Well, we started November 24th at $105 for 3 days.
Which is the deal of the century.
That's pretty, yeah, it's $35 a day, and it's a lot of talent to see for $35.
I'm with Chris. We need some more 70s.
You need some more 70s? Well,
Yeah.
there's
If
not a
they're
lot
not
of,
dead.
there's not a lot of, the talent, and it's interesting you mention that because this is a little bit different. Rap and hip hop's obviously growing in popularity, and we're a little heavy on that this year, but that's what's popular.
A little more country.
What's that?
A little more country.
We've got 2, we put Luke Combs in there, who's got a big record, which I think will be big, and that's going to be an interesting stage. We haven't released it publicly, but it's going to be Post Malone, Juicy J, and Luke Combs.
At the same time?
No, one right before the other.
Okay, awesome.
Which I think- Which I think.
I didn't want them to be Juicy J and Post Malone to be at the same time.
No, it's that stage. Post is going to close it out. Juicy J's right before him, and Luke Combs right before.
on Sunday. What time, if you can tell me, what about Young Dolph? Is he gonna be at the same
Young
time?
Dolph's going to be on about the same time as Luke Combs. He's on a different stage though.
I might have to miss Luke Combs.
So you're going to be able to catch Young Dolph and go see Juicy J and Post Malone.
Hey.
And we try to stagger. You know, all the artists want to be the last one. So what happens? You have 3 headliners going on at the same time. We haven't released the schedule yet. We won't probably till the latter part of March. But as an example, I saw a lot of commentary where people like, you know, I want to see Jack White and I also want to see Incubus. So we've got separation to where you're not going to be able to see them both in totality, but you could go see Incubus for 45 minutes and then go see Jack White. If you want to go see Odessa, you can go see Odessa and still see Post Malone. So we stagger them somewhat. So you can really, if you want to run back and forth in training for the Great American River Run, you could run to the 3 stages and catch probably about 20 to 25 acts over the weekend. So what is the most popular act?
Post Malone.
Post Malone?
I guess, yeah. Young
Yeah,
Dolph.
to the younger crowd, yeah, probably.
And then who's the second one, did you say?
I said maybe either Tyler Creator or Young Dolph.
Okay.
Juicy J.
Juicy
Juicy
J,
J?
yeah. What do you
Okay.
think about him?
I went to him last year, because he was there last year, wasn't he?
No, Juice hasn't played for us, I think, since 2014.
Wiz Khalifa. Was
Wiz
Khalifa?
Wiz Khalifa was last year.
Wiz Khalifa was last year.
2 Chainz.
Yeah.
2 Chainz.
Yes.
That was
Yeah.
good.
Jim, if I can, about the ticket prices.
Sure.
What I've been doing for the past couple weeks is looking at, you know, other festivals' ticket prices, and this is the cheapest 3-day pass of all the festivals that I've looked at around the country, which I think was about 15 or 20. And it's got a lineup that can compete with all those other ones this year, I think. I mean, as far as comparisons to other festivals go, this is, you know, the best deal out there right now, from what I've seen.
And that's something that we're known for. We've always, you know, we're recognized, aside from being incredibly diverse as far as in the lineup, we're known for probably the best value out there. I think, what was Bonnaroo, 300 and something?
It was getting close to $300, yeah.
Yeah, it's $300 a night. This is, you know, right now it's $40 a day. Yes.
So if we volunteer, do we get to experience it?
As a volunteer.
Yeah, volunteers, you know, you work your shift. When you're off your shift, yeah, then you get to hang out and enjoy the event. And it's a great opportunity to meet people, to acquire some new skills, and it's an area that you're interested in. And we also provide free T-shirts. You get admission the day. I mean, you don't get for the entire month. You can't work one day and get free passes. But you know, if you're working at the hospitality committee, we're doing something. You do, I think it's a 4-hour shift, and then you're off. So if you're working early in the day, which is good for students because you've got some flexibility as opposed to people that are working and really, you know, have a tough time before 5 o'clock getting off to go there. So you can work during the day, then you're in the park and free to enjoy it afterwards. You get a free T-shirt, and then we do a big party, typically in August for all the volunteers. So it's a lot of fun. Once you do it, we have a very high retention rate on the volunteers.
Is the hospitality committee still open for volunteers?
I
or-
think so. We had our volunteer expo last week. You go to memphisinmay.org and check. Or if you want, send an email to Becky Genoways, who coordinates all of our volunteer activity.
Who was your favorite person in the lineup this year?
I really don't like music that much. No, I'm just kidding. I would say there's 2 artists that I'm excited that we've got. Erykah Badu is somebody that we have tried to book for about 4 or 5 years now. She doesn't tour a whole lot, and I think she'll put on a great show and will really resonate. She hasn't, I can't remember the last time she was in Memphis. Incubus hasn't played the city of Memphis since 2002, I think. They don't tour a lot anymore. They're a great rock band. Very excited. Post Malone is very, very popular. Alanis Morissette had an incredibly huge album probably before most of you guys were born in 1993 or 4, Jack, you remember? Called Jagged Little Pill. She's got a great, before he was born. She's got a great catalog of music, and a lot of people haven't seen her. She hasn't worked extensively, so I think that's going to be a highlight. Jack White's making his debut at the festival.
How about Logic?
David Byrne from Talking Heads. Logic, he's got a big record. He's got a new mixtape, I think, coming out next month.
Yeah. Has he ever come here?
No, he's never played. This year we've got, and that's something that we always, because a lot of people, you know, concerts have gotten so expensive. You go see a concert, you'd be spending $60, $70, $80. So one of the benefits of Beale Street Music is you get 3 days of music, and you run around between the stages, you could probably make about, you know, 20 plus, maybe 25 different artists, depending upon, you know, if you walk away from one to go see another. So it's an incredible amount of music that you can see for 3 days at a very modest price. So because of that, and I know people that come every year to this, we try not to repeat artists too much. We've got, I think it's 24 or 25 artists that are playing the Beale Street Music Festival for the first time. And then we also bring back, we've got maybe 8 to 10 that are repeat players that are always popular. Juicy J, the Flaming Lips, who we haven't had in 3 years. Third Eye Blind, another band from the late 90s. Cake, who hasn't played in Memphis, I think, since 2011, last time they were at the festival. So there's a good mix of stuff that you won't see outside the festival or haven't been in the market for a while. And we do that purposely so you can enjoy the whole weekend and see a lot of talent that you otherwise wouldn't see in Memphis.
There's some bands on the lineup that they're not touring at all besides this festival. They don't have any dates announced, and they're not playing any other festivals. Like Chevelle, the really good hard rock band, they're in the middle of recording an album, but they're taking time out to come play the festival.
That and Kaleo.
Yeah,
a band from Iceland who's now based in Austin, Texas. It had a big record. It's got a lot of great music. And that was something we wanted because they hadn't been in Memphis. So it's like, so they're flying in for this day, along with Chevelle. And Alanis Morissette's not touring this time. She's flying in to do this. Any other questions? Anything you want to know? Anything you want to tell me about Professor Ryan?
Yeah, there are many aspects of this festival. So besides the volunteer opportunities with the Beale Street Music Festival, there are always opportunities at the World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest.
Or
and,
at the run, the Run Memorial Day weekend. You know, if you're not a runner, we got water stations. We got a hospitality party for that. That's really big. So we're a little bit restricted on hospitality at the Beale Street Music Festival, simply because we don't, we want to make sure that the artists are feeling comfortable. So, but there's a lot of areas for hospitality involvement throughout the month. So the deadline, I think, is pretty quick for volunteering. So if you have an interest, reach out to Becky Genoways. It's bgenoways at memphisinmay.org. You can find that on the website. And I'll email her this evening and say she might be getting some inquiries, because if it's not close, it's getting very close to closing. Anything you want? Yes.
So this is something, you said you start selling tickets in November.
Mm-hmm.
How long does this event actually take to put everything together to come up to accumulate to the weekend or the month?
Well, we have 14 full-time staff members that work year-round
Mm-hmm.
in our office downtown.
And is it just for this, or do you have
Just for
other?
this. Just,
Oh, wow.
Again, it's a $10 million operation, or close to that. It's a little over $9 million in our budget. And, we're starting to work a little bit on 2019 at this point, in addition to executing for 18. But there's a lot of moving parts to it. We'll start, close down the office for a week in June to give the staff a break, because they work incredibly long hours during May. But, end of June, we're doing recaps and assessments and buttoning things up. And then really the 1st of July, 4th of July, we start working on the following year. So there's a lot more to it than one would think. It takes, different things start at different times. We started booking talent 1st of October. We were working on the international programs last August.
What positions do you have in your office, like sales, administration?
We have 5 different departments. We've got the finance department, which is 3 people. We have sponsorship, which is 2. Programming, which is 2. Marketing's 3. Operation, which is 3. Figurehead, which is me and Jack and my assistant, do administration. So, but no, it's full time, and we have a little bit of a break, like I said, the end of June, first part of July. But 1st of August we will have an annual report, an annual meeting, announce the results from the prior year, and announce the country or who we're honoring the following year and the dates, and then we immediately kind of get on the roll, start working it. So yeah, a lot to it. Yes.
How do you pick the country you're going to represent?
We've got an international selection committee, and there's certain criteria that they review. We start with a kind of a global rotation, and then we look at import-export figures, ethnic linkages with the Mid-South. We've got to have positive diplomatic relations with the U.S., a number of other criteria. And then they'll rank different countries that meet those criteria, and we send inquiry letters to Washington, D.C., and then meet with government officials at the embassy, and narrow it down and make a determination.
Stay more to our allies list, right?
Well, yeah, we're not going to be saluting North Korea anytime soon. But we want, we send as part of the program we do, we travel over there to put together programs. We'll take a group of citizens. Mayor Luttrell's going to the Czech Republic with us next month, along with some city council members and county commissioners. So we need to make sure that it's safe. We send, we've got I think 10 exchange students that are going to Prague on a student exchange, and we'll bring students from the Czech Republic here in Memphis. So we'll make sure that it's a safe environment. There's good rapport with the U.S. We pay tribute to the country, so we want them to be proud of the program we put together.
What else we got for Jim and Jack? Everything that's been on your mind about Memphis in May, now's the time. Comments, observations? Well, let's hear it from them.